guys, Joe here from XFoxGames. This is going to be an install guide either for the Rival kind of dress-up kit where you can shoot Rival rounds out of your PathFinder, or if you have upgraded to the inline kit, basically it's the same thing, just a different barrel. This upgrade should take you roughly about 15 to 20 minutes. Most of it is just doing all of the screws. There's about 20 to 30 screws on the outside of this. Both of these kits don't require you to cut, glue, modify anything. You can go back to your original kit at any time. And that's why I like this, because yeah, you could just flip-flop back and forth to whatever you like. So first things first is we have a kind of a PathFinder here. I've already undone massive screws. That way you're not sitting here watching it. And all we want to do is go ahead and kind of take everything apart. Now, I would say when you do this, there are some springs back here on the trigger and on the catch mechanism that are probably going to go flying. So make sure that you have an open area, you know, and kind of these springs are not going to go flying. And if you can't find them, you almost can't even use the blaster. So keep that in mind. So just take them all out and make sure you know where the screws go. For the most part, a lot of them are the same, but some of them are different up front, and you want to make sure you put the screws right back where they go. So first things first is we'll just pop this off here, which is kind of the outer casing here. And for the most part, it's going to look like this. I did take out my spring because when you're putting in the spring, it tends to kind of bend everything up and make it look a little funny. But the springs that you want to watch for is right here, which is going to be where the trigger is. There's going to be one on this back kind of U lever right here. And there's going to be another one on the top right here on the top of your catch. This top one usually doesn't go flying. It's this bottom one right here. The trigger one typically stays. So this is the one you want to catch. So when you open up the back, just make sure you have something so it doesn't go flying. So first things first is you want to take off this front piece up here. And this actually front piece right here is two different pieces. Now mine, well, all of them that I've done have been solvent welded. So when you kind of wiggle it, you're going to notice that you're going to get a little bit of a resistance, but both of these parts should come off. So you could see a little bit of the solvent weld here. You could see a little bit of the solvent weld there. If you want to clean that up afterwards, fine. It doesn't hurt just to kind of leave it, but you can kind of see that in there, and then you can see it right here, right? So all you got to do is pop these off, throw them in a little baggie in case you want to use them later. And I mean, we could technically throw this front in and we're almost done, but we do have the mag release. So this is super simple. This is literally just two pieces, and they kind of fit together like that. This piece goes up in there. So take this, throw it over there. And we got the new mag piece right here. It's going to fit in the same way. And we're going to go ahead and install that now because it's super simple. So you need to put the top, this goes right inside it like that, and it needs this hole will slide over the hole that it came off of. So you can just slide it down in there. This isn't too hard. Should look something like that when done. So super simple, and it just kind of goes forward. So perfect, we got one of the pieces installed. So the next big thing is you want to remove your air restrictor. So I've already removed it from here, but this is how it would look if you removed your air restrictor. So we could take this piece off right here. So this would sit technically like this, right? Oops. Something like that, and this is the piece that slides back and forth. So this piece right here, if you are going to use the Rival rounds, you can keep this little piece right here. It's like a little rubber piece. If you see it in there, it's right there. It's the part that gives the ball the backspin, right? So you want to keep that in if you're going to use the Rival front tip because you want that backspin. However, if you are going to go to the inline clip, you're going to want to take that little piece out. It basically, you just put your finger in and it pops right out. And there you go. And there's a new sleeve for this, which we'll go over, but for this demo, since we're going to be putting in the Rival run just for this, I'm going to leave that in because I want to use it. So just keep that in mind that you want to take that out if we're going to do this other one. So perfect. We got that prepped. Now the air restrictor. The air restrictor is this piece right here. Kind of this little ball indent, so you kind of push it back. This is super easy to take out. If you look down in there, there's literally a screw that's pretty far. You just go in there. You twist it out. Perfect. And it should just pop out like so. There we go. Okay, so a spring that popped out. So there you go. There is your air restrictor. Again, put this in a little baggie. If you ever want to put it back in, I would probably just throw it away. So perfect. Now it should look something like that, where really there's not much air restriction there. So again, I've already done that to mine. So now these pieces are basically ready to go, right? These are all ready to go, minus this if you guys are gonna do the rival. So now, once we have the air restrictor gone, we have the lock in place, you can put in this spacer. This spacer, I don't typically recommend it. It's a 5mm spacer, and where it's gonna go inside this tube here. So if we take a look at this, it's gonna go inside, let's pop this out, inside this tube. And what this is gonna do is just give your spring a little more tension so you can get a little bit more FPS. However, I don't know how long it's gonna be able to hold up under, you know, a 5mm spacer, you know, kind of tension. So take this with a grain of salt. The thing works perfectly fine without it, but you wanna take this and you wanna push that down even, just like that, all the way down to the bottom. And you just wanna make sure that the opening there is in the opening right at the very top, right? So again, this will give you a little bit better FPS, but you know, it's gonna put a lot more stress on the actual part. So for this demo, I'm not gonna put it in there. Let me just throw this back in. So perfect. So now what we wanna do is, we already have this, we already have the mag release, now we just pick the barrel. And for this, since we did not remove the hop up right here, that little piece, you just wanna take this, and pretty much it just slides right in. Boom. And you want to take, you see these two little tabs up here? You want to take those two little tabs, and they should go right in between kind of that little screw mount or whatever you want to call it. Now, you're going to be like, oh, that's a little loose on the front. Well, it's because a bigger one actually goes down over the top of it and really cinches it in there. So there you go. I mean, that's the upgrade. So all you have to do now is pretty much put everything back on. And I won't save you the, you know, I won't have to go through it all, but when you're all said and done, you should have something that looks very similar to this with a nice, cool new catch and, of course, a new muzzle. Now, you do get the pseudo mag, so you probably would never put this in there if you're shooting rival, but if you're gonna put it on your wall or something like that, you know, you can put the pseudo mag in there and just have it on your wall. For the inline kit, it is just the same. The only thing different here is, we're gonna take this back out and I'll show you on here. So the only thing different here is on this piece, since we're not shooting the balls, we wanna pop this little rubber piece out and keep that handy. And then you wanna put in this little shaft. It's gonna go inside the shaft here. And you wanna make sure that this part that is like thinner on the top, you can see there's a thicker part and a thinner, the thinner part goes in it. So it's gonna go like this. It's gonna fit right in, and you can see it's gonna cover up that hole, so perfect. And then the bottom of your inline barrel is kind of recessed, and you just wanna give it a little oomph to kind of put it in there. You could pre-put it in there if you want to, something like that, right? And you don't have to glue it, the air seal is pretty tight. So now it's gonna go like that, and everything would go back in like normal. So throw that back there. So this would just go in just like the normal kit, or the normal other one. Whoop. You want to line these up over on the outside, make sure this is in the right spot. You'll see that this kind of sits down when it's in the right spot. This should be the same thing. So perfect. And then when you put back on your front, it'll be just like the same thing. Only thing different is you got a smaller tip, but now you could fit multiple rounds in there. So biggest thing here, guys, is make sure when you open this, you keep track of all the screws, make sure the springs do not go flying, and make sure you put back the screws where they came from, because if you put too big of screws in here, it's gonna make the front kind of bindy, because these actually go through and they'll push on the actual rod. But just, yeah, keep track of everything that comes out. But that's it. I mean, that's gonna be the install guide. I think this is gonna be a cool kit, especially the inline kit, when you can have this pseudo mag and kind of this cool kind of quick release right there. But yeah, install should take you about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on which one you have. And if you ever want to go back, by all means, just take out what you did and pretty much go back and put the regular stuff in there. So there you go. I mean, that's the install guide. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks again, Fox fans.